Today, I want you to be asking yourself these questions to help you move off center, to help you uproot a little bit, get unstuck, capture the vision that you had for yourself. Maybe at the beginning of the year, maybe the vision that's just percolating in there right now because we're just in this really awesome season of change. I'm Elissa Shuck, ex-corporate hiring manager, middle manager turned leadership and career coach. It wasn't all that long ago that I experienced layoffs, narcissistic bosses, toxic work environments, and leadership challenges that had me wondering, why in the world did I ever get into management? But I've also had 12 career promotions. I co-founded a company. I've made multiple industry pivots and turned around poor performing teams. I've achieved everything I set out to do and imagined that I could do in my career. I created the Love Your Work Life podcast to give you simple, actionable, step-by-step strategies to help you do the same. If you're a high-achieving employee and leader, or you're one in the making who's looking to create a career instead of letting it happen on default, who wants a work life that feels happy and satisfying, you're in the right place, my friend. Let's get started. There's something funny that happens in Arizona. For those of you who don't live here, during the summer months, we actually don't have cold water coming out of the tap. It's kind of lukewarm to even kind of bordering on hot. I know, it's bizarro. But here's when I know fall happens. Fall happens when I turn the cold water handle and cold water actually comes out of the tap. That's my moment of, oh my gosh, fall is here. Now, I love fall. It's my favorite season of the year. I actually think of fall as my new year. I've never been one to make New Year's resolutions or kind of plan big things for the new year. Fall is kind of my time to do that. I don't know if it's the change in the air, if it's leaves turning. Back when I lived in places where we had leaves that turned. That doesn't happen, at least not where I live in Arizona. There's places we can go. But anyway, there's something about change in the air in fall that I find so inspiring. And that's why I'm going to do some extra podcast episodes during these next couple of months, getting us through the fall season. Because I have a feeling you're like me, like something's in the air, something's happening. You don't want to wait any longer to do the thing that you've been thinking about. Maybe you made a New Year's resolution at the beginning of the year. Like, oh, I'm going to get a new job this year. I'm finally going to get that promotion. I'm going to get out of that toxic workplace. I'm going to make my career pivot. If that hasn't happened for you yet, you are in the right place. These are the topics I'm going to talk about in these next several podcast episodes, probably twice a week, because I want you to ramp up and take advantage of all this change that's in the air and make it happen for yourself. Because here's the deal. If you're planning for a new job next year, like that's going to be your New Year's resolution or a back to it New Year's resolution, the time to start is now. If you don't start now, it might be June by the time you get your new job. I'm not a big one for setting these determined times for how long it takes to land a job. But what I do know is that the clients that work with me land jobs faster than what I see everybody talking about on LinkedIn. And that's what I want to inspire you with in these next several weeks. So today, I'm going to ask you some questions. Today, I want you to be asking yourself these questions to help you move off center, to help you uproot a little bit, get unstuck, capture the vision that you had for yourself. Maybe at the beginning of the year, maybe the vision that's just percolating in there right now because we're just in this really awesome season of change. So here's the questions and here's how I want you to think about them. The first one is, what is the highest vision for my life? And it doesn't have to be life. Maybe it's, what is the highest vision for my career? You've heard me say it before, that we're going to spend 30% of our lives. That calculates to like 90,000 hours. That amount of time spent deserves to have intention, deserves to have a vision. So if you just gave yourself the space to let your imagination run wild, to put it at the highest level that it could possibly be, what would that be for your career? Ask yourself the question. The cool thing is that when we ask really good questions, our brain will answer us. The information is out there. What is that saying on the X-Files? The truth is out there. Well, it is, my friend, and you will find it when you ask yourself good questions. So start with, what's the highest vision for my career? Then ask yourself, what seeks to emerge in, through, and as my career? This is a really interesting question, and I've just been spending so much time on myself these last several months, doing some introspection, elevating some of my personal habits. And one of my teachers talked about this. Like, it's, if you think of it like this, you don't actually have to change anything. All you have to do is get clear. All you have to do is let what is inside of you emerge. Let it come out. Remove the obstacles, the opinions, the things that other people have been telling you recently or for your entire life. If that was actually true, that there was nothing you needed to change, that it was just something you had to let out, that you had to let emerge, what would that be? Now here's the next question. What must I become in order to manifest this vision? And I know manifest sounds kind of like a woo-woo word, but think of it as the bricks that have to be put into place. It's not this, pie in the sky thing. Is what are the elements? What are the new characteristics? What are the things that you would have to allow in yourself, to cultivate in yourself for that big vision to happen? What must you release to allow that vision to come about? Maybe you've been hanging on to some bad habits, some thought patterns that don't serve you. Maybe you've been comparing yourself to other people. Here's a news flash. There is no one else like you. You are the only one. You are like the snowflake, the blade of grass, the leaf, the fractal. There is nothing exactly like you in this world, in this universe. So the opinions of other people, the thoughts that don't serve you, the repeating patterns of actions and behaviors that are the definition of insanity, right? Like doing the same thing over and over again, yet expecting a different result. What could you release? The same teacher said on one of his podcasts that I was listening to, where would you be without your major complaint? Could you release that major complaint about the job, about the person, about the circumstance? How would that free you up to apply energy somewhere else? Because here's the thing, we can't be grateful and complaining at the same time. We can't be moving forward and be in complaint mode at the same time. So as soon as you release that, you free up energy to think more creatively, to have more ideas, to see more possibilities. And the last question is, what talents, gifts, skills, qualities, experiences do I already possess that will serve this vision I have, this highest vision, this ideal, crazy town thing out there that I believe might just be possible? You have them. Asking yourself the question, what are they? What are these gifts? What do I already have? I had a wonderful call with a client just today, and we were talking about the paradigm shift she was having. She says, I have this feeling that I could do this other thing, go this other direction. And the more we evaluated that, the more we spent time with it, we found that she had some massive accumulated value in a fairly different career, a path, some longevity even in that career that was totally applicable to this new way. But you've got to connect the dots for yourself. You've got to find those gifts, talents, skills, and experience for yourself before anybody else will see the logic in that career move. If you're thinking about a career move, or you're just wanting to get out of the toxic workplace, whatever your situation is, you've got to connect the dots for yourself. Have that clear, oh my gosh, yes, this equals that. Look for the overlaps in skills, experience between what you've been doing and what you want to do. The reason that you're even contemplating that next thing or attracted to that idea of what you could do that's different, the mere fact that it's calling out to you is evidence that you have something going on that actually fits with that idea, fits with that vision. This is so powerful. You could probably come up with other questions. One of the things that I'm going to talk about in one of these future episodes is a concept that I've been thinking about for months and months, and that is fractal thinking. If you aren't familiar, look it up. Fractals are these repeating patterns. They're all over. The easiest example I can think of is like a fern or even a snowflake, where the pattern just keeps repeating itself, and that is growth. That represents the movement and the expansion of growth in a living thing like a plant. But I think I've got this idea that fractals are also in our thinking. And if we pay attention to them, we can direct them. If we set an intention about what we want, the intention causes this expanded thought patterns like a fractal. I'm getting off on a tangent here, but that's going to be one of my episodes coming up. So what are you going to do this fall season? How are you going to use this fall, autumn, harvest season that we're in? October 2024. I want you to think about the actions you take right now. What effect is that going to have 6 months from now? Are you going to have the promotion and the raise? Be able to take an awesome family vacation next year? What happens a year from now? What you choose to do right now in this season has the power to change everything. All right, my friends, I'm so inspired for this series of episodes that are going to get us moving, get us inspired to evolve and make the changes that we've been envisioning for a short time, for a long time. Now is the time. It's happening now, and I hope you're part of it. I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and please visit elissashuck-careercoach.com for more information about how I can help you with your career and leadership goals. Talk to you soon.